Hello, welcome to another session of Learn with Veer Sagar. In the last session, we talked about voluntary separation scheme where the V was active. It was voluntary and it was not for cost reduction, but because jobs had become irrelevant. They had been removed, so the entire manufacturing process has changed, which made certain people redundant. And therefore, we had to find a way around it. Today, I will talk about another VRS where the V is silent. And this was again not necessary, it was not a cost reduction exercise. It was an efficiency increasing exercise because we found that the number of people in the organization were disproportionately large to the revenue. A. B. There were so many layers of management between me as the CEO and the customer. There were 11 layers of management, which makes life very difficult because if any reaction from the customer, any feedback from the customer, by the time it comes up, gets distorted or gets just disappeared. So therefore, the number of layers had to come down. Thirdly, we found the teeth to tail ratio. The number of earning people, revenue earning people, was much lower as opposed to the number of staff function. The staff number was so large that profits were difficult to come by. So we didn't do this by saying, okay, let's get rid of X number of people. We did this by reorganizing. There are two methods. One is by reorganizing the company, the job that were being done, the level that became redundant, and cut it down from 11 to 5 levels and what jobs left and what jobs had to go. So that threw up some surplus people. And similarly, we said, who will go? Today I will talk about how did we work out the who will go. And in the next session, I will work out the why they had to go. Okay? Now let's take the who. For what did we do? We said we want to ask people whose performance is not too good to go, so that the numbers come down to a manageable number. The kind of number that we were looking for to meet the revised organization. So we had a situation where we had a revised organization which required less number of people. And then the next issue was to match the people who were left behind with the job that were available. So see how we can retrain them to fit the jobs. And this first rule we followed, well, this is going to be open and transparent. No exceptions, no ifs and buts, and nothing hidden. So the entire thing was open and put up on the notice board so that each person could calculate whether he or she has to stay or go, and if they did, how much money they would get. This was a very, very traumatic exercise. Believe me, the people who were being asked to go were no way responsible for the state on which the company was. But they were made to carry the can because that was the most expedient way of doing things. Bit sad, right? It was traumatic not only for them, it was traumatic for me. And this was done directly by me, and I was too new to get emotionally involved, directly by me, so that there is no favoritism, no likes, no dislikes. In order to make it fair, in fact, we said we will take your appraisal for the last 3 years. Luckily, DCM has a good appraisal system. So we said we will take your appraisal for the last 3 years. And the appraisal used to be A plus, A, B, C, and D. So we said A plus is equal to 5 and D is equal to 1. So anybody whose appraisal adds up to 4 or below will have to take the VRS. They don't have a choice. And if they don't take, then we will find some other ways of taking action. That's the first step. So you don't have a choice. You have to take the VRS, take the money. 2, those that were above 8 are not entitled to take the VRS. See, normally when you have a VRS, the good guys take the money and run because they know they get another job. So let's take as much as we can from here and carry on. We didn't want to lose anyone who's above 8. That means we've got some good appraisals in the past will not leave, will not be. If they leave as the normal process. It's not part of this VRS scheme. Then those between 4 and 8 had the option, they could stay or they could go. And in order to make sure that a lot of them go from here, we actually put in a added incentive so that the people who are going become marketers for pushing more people out, that for every one person who went above that minimum original calculated number, there'll be a bonus of 1,000 to everybody who takes the VRS. This ensured that those who were taking the VRS went out and sold the VRS to the other people. The VRS itself was quite liberal. It was nowhere close to what legally you are allowed to give. It was way, way above. Because again, as I felt, and I said, it's very traumatic. A lot of these people hadn't worked anywhere else. This was their first job and they have been in the company for 10, 15 years. So they know no other job and they are in no way responsible for the state of the company, but they were made to carry the can. I had people coming into my room crying. Wives coming into the house and saying, look, with babies saying, where can we go? Yes, I don't blame them. And I myself felt bad, so I must imagine how they felt. The only thing was, it was open, transparent, and across the board. Nobody, whether he was a departmental head or he was the lowest guy, if he fell in that scheme, they had to go. We lost a lot of departmental heads who did not come, and some volunteered because they fell between 4 and 8. So we designed this scheme and we gave them a scheme which was much more liberal than they would like. At the end of the day, it went off quite smoothly. We lost over about 500 out of the 950 people, which was what we were looking for. And the only thing I liked about it is I was in a way clear that I have not done injustice to anybody as an individual. No offense meant. And they also recognized there was nothing personal. That was open, transparent, and above board. All and each one could calculate on their own. It was available on the notice board. So that at the end, a lot of them who did not approve of this, may not have approved of the way it was calculated, felt one thing, okay, look, I am not to blame. And some of them are still my friends who keep in touch with me because they have done very well after leaving the company. So the lesson I learned is A, you want to do a thing like this, be fair, very, very fair. Be very open, be very transparent, right? And then get no emotions in this. But think of the person who's getting it. Think with the heart of what you want to give. Do not get carried away by laws and nil numbers. Because whatever amount you give as a VRS money is not enough to make up for the trauma of being asked to go. With that is Veer Sagar saying thank you very much till we meet again next time. Bye.